Now, the poor thing is that now climate change, people use it to politicize the games, right? To get votes. So on the left here that you see, this is mainly in the West, okay, the northern hemisphere, the West, okay, some countries especially. Fossil fuel companies, big industry, because they have lots of money, they have lots of membership traditionally in the past due to the revolution, okay. They play a big role in terms of dictating how climate change laws are made because they have the power money, okay. And it's done through lobbying. They have very strong lobbyists. Sometimes they use money to even change the stance of the lobbyists, of the scientists, some of them. Now in this article, it's a committee hearing that's done in the US to determine what extent in which the oil companies have spread disinformation or fake news, okay? If there's any regarding climate change, misleading information because they want to drive to one agenda to preserve the profit, to preserve the bottom line. Yeah, there may be some effect, but if you don't get enough truth or the whole picture, all the facts here, people might act in a different way. On the right side, there's an article talking about why climate change has becoming a partisan thing here. You know, your two parties in the States here, your red and the blue here, combating. And the gist of it, right, the simple answer is money. Because when you lobby for fossil fuels, right, companies, right, then you can have more fundraising for your elections campaign, okay? So when you lobby for them, right, they say, oh, you are on my side, let me fund you, okay? And there might be a conflict of interest because when you get elected to office, then you might want to pass laws that benefit them. So it does play a part in dictating climate change laws. Be very careful, okay? Now, the question becomes like, when do we teach climate change? Right, from young, how young is young, right? So learning about climate change and how to live a sustainable life should be taught and cultivated from a very young age, okay? Maybe one day SpongeBob SquarePants could teach them. Now in this article here, there's various schools in Singapore start to teach the students about sustainability. In Singapore, we're doing green. Now, for instance, this picture shown here, students from this Mito school. Mito school are engaged in this weekly recycling program to recycle plastic, because something that's man-made. And Tampines Secondary School also added sustainability as part of the curriculum. This is all we call civic education. For example, the Sec 1 in Tampines Secondary School is learning about what Singapore is doing in the areas of the renewable energy, how solar energy can be harnessed. And the chemistry students, like yourself, chemistry students also learns about how harmful gases are related to the atmosphere. They are released as a result of human activities, anthropogenic activities. Students there are also tasked to sort the trash in the classroom every day as part of the structured curriculum. Here at NUS in my class, I don't do that because we know you're doing that, but you can do more, right? You are what you are, but you're not yet what you can become, you know, in your effort in helping slow down climate change, right? And I will be with you. And these are some examples in articles that are shared. Feel free to read up more. There's a paywall. There's a way to overcome the paywall through the university library system here. You can read the articles, maybe without the photos. And we can have a discussion. Now, there are some examples where in this article are shared. And then other articles that we talk about the same point here about teaching climate change from young, because they need to be aware, right? They can play a part, okay? Feel free to read more. And on news, overseas news here, this is from Reuters. We often hear about climate change affects, our future generations. People protesting, please slow it down. Even the great climate activist, Greta Thunberg from Sweden, teenager still. She's just 19 this year, but she started when she's younger. Okay. Here we often think that the future generation refers to our children or grandchildren. Future generations, but that's not true. Okay. Future generation, when they refer to it, we are still living the daylight out of it. We are part of the future generation because we are young. Okay, we are still going to be in our lifetime. So it's not like we don't care because we are not going to be there, right? We look at our longevity, our human life expectancy. Oh, future generation, next generation. Next. No, we are part of our generation because today is now. 10 years from now, we are still going to be alive. Okay, keep our health, but it affects us, which means we have a part to play. We are part of the future generation, not just our children if we want to have, or grandchildren if they want to have, but we are part of the future generation. So I'm speaking 25 minutes ago. That was the past, we can't call it back, but today is the future generation, and it just time passes without control. Another article talk about Singapore already experienced the hottest temperature in May 2022. What about May 2023, next year? 7 months away. We are now already feeling the effects of global warming, like it or not. What if we do not care about climate change, even after we present all the facts here? You know what people say? This is not true. The fact is, the earth is getting warmer, the facts are there, human activity does have a role to play, and we have a role to play. We need to be part of it. Even though it's a global issue, but Singapore is affected too. We also see more extreme weather conditions in Singapore, flash floods, right? Heavy rain, you see, ambulance getting submerged until the wheels. Unbelievable. Just 5 years ago, this last, 2020 in June, okay? So here, imagine you call ambulance, right? And only to find out that the ambulance got stuck, got stranded because the road leading to the scene of emergency got flooded. How can you believe it? Right? Singapore so efficient. But it could happen in Singapore because of a heavy downpour, we have flooding. And more rainfall means that there's a high likelihood of landslides occurring in Singapore. It's just this year. Remember? Recent one in Clementi, I talked about in class, 2022. Imagine walking past a hilly area, okay? Typical rainy day, and suddenly, next thing you know, you find yourself buried alive. Okay, I mean, this is extreme case, final destination, but due to landslide, it might happen. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. While there are so far no fatalities due to landslides reported in Singapore, it doesn't mean it cannot occur. Okay, we always have to do some preventions. Take care, right? Anticipate. Now, tropical storm, we don't experience like typhoon, hurricane, cyclones, depending on where the location of the storm. They are usually formed in the northern and southern hemisphere, so we're near the equator. We are very safe. But our friends, they live there, right? The north and the south. These are due to the presence of your Coriolis effect. And here, because we're near the equator, and by the way, Singapore is above the equator, okay? Although we're very warm. Now, we experience a weak to no Coriolis effect, so we are not a conducive place for tropical storms to form. But tropical storms like the Vame is one of the few rarest tropical storms that's near the equator, very near Singapore. Okay, it was in 2021. Not sure if you remember, and it's not clear if the climate change will cause such tropical storms to come to Singapore, because there's just not too many data to work with here. So we can assume that based on the past history, tropical storms here, northern, southern hemisphere, but we see one anomaly, maybe there's more to come. Hopefully not, but we need to be careful. Okay. This might sound very down, upsetting, but be optimistic about the future, because each of us can do our part to make it work. We all can contribute, okay? Slow down climate change, okay? And we all have a responsibility to solve the challenges in climate change. We have the UN SDG goal. People are more aware now, take action. Because this is our responsibility, part of our civics and citizenship, okay? It's on us, owners, and part of our training in a global citizenship education. So with that, I hope you can speak more in class and stay optimistic and do your part. Stay inspired. Cheers.